Three prominent activists in Egypt have been sentenced to 3 years in jail for organizing an unlicensed protest. It is the first such verdict against non-Islamist protesters since the overthrow of Mohamed Morsi in July, and is seen by rights groups as part of a widening crackdown on demonstrations by military-installed authorities. Ahmed Maher, Ahmed Douma and Mohamed Adel were figureheads in the protest movement that ousted former President Hosni Mubarak almost 3 years ago. They also supported the military's overthrow of Mr Morsi, whom they accused of betraying the 2011 revolution. The trio were arrested last month, accused of organizing fresh protests in defiance of harsh new laws against public demonstrations. They were also found guilty of rioting and assaulting security forces during the November 30 protest in Cairo, and were fined £50,000 $8,000, each. When the sentences were handed down, their supporters drowned out the judge with chants of "down with military rule." Their lawyer has vowed to appeal against the sentence. The United States and human rights groups have expressed concern about the protest law, which was introduced after Egypt lifted a 3-month state of emergency. The new protest law has also angered many of the secular and liberal activists who had viewed the military-installed government, which has pledged a democratic transition with fresh elections next year, as a lesser evil than Mr Morsi. Since Mr Morsi's overthrow, the authorities have launched a sweeping crackdown on his supporters that has left more than 1,000 people killed and thousands more arrested, including virtually the entire top leadership of his Muslim Brotherhood, which prevailed in a series of polls held after Mubarak's ouster. On August 14, security forces stormed 2 pro-Morsi sit-ins in Cairo, setting off clashes in which hundreds of people were killed, mainly Morsi supporters, in the worst mass killing in Egypt's modern history. Mr Morsi himself remains in detention, charged with inciting violence against protesters during a rally outside the presidential palace in December 2012. He is to stand 2 more trials, one for espionage involving the Palestinian Islamist movement Hamas and the other for a prison break and murder of officers during the anti-Mubarak uprising.